Romance anime is a genre I have covered intensely on this channel because I need something to fill the lonely. Okay, that's enough single jokes on this channel. It's getting old. From Maki Ine, breaking conventional tropes, to Blue Locks playing on the realism of those tropes, all the way to the incredible world-building aspects of A Sign of Affection's romance. Don't believe me? Go watch that video. It's underrated on the channel. Romance is probably my third favorite genre of anime, right behind slice of life and action. I watch and read a lot of romance anime and manga. It's a genre that does so well to capture our everyday interactions with excellent character writing and drama-filled plots, showing how heartbreakingly complicated love can be, but also at the same time beautiful. That's a banger way to describe romance anime. I deserve a sub from you just for that. And as the years go on and I watch more and more, I'm starting to realize something myself. Two things so important I'm amazed I never realized it before. 1. Adult romance is way better than that high school shit. And 2. I tend to like romance a lot better when they give you more than just a love story. Don't get me wrong, a lot of my favorites like Toradora and Kadocha take place in high school or younger. But if I had to separate the high school romances from the adult romances overall are beating the competition in quality. Shows like Wotakoi, the aforementioned A Sign of Affection, and even last season's hit I Have a Crush at Work all managed to capture what we love about this genre without treating its audience like they're still going through puberty. And to my second point, both Toradora and Kadocha give you more than just a love story. So with this realization, there is no way an anime that does both of these things isn't going to be one of my favorite shows this season. An anime that is so much more than it seems, while still managing to be one of the best entries to the romance genre we've had all year. A romance that is mature, mysterious, and if all my theories are right, downright insane. Kowloon Generic Romance has a very ironic title because there is absolutely nothing generic about this anime. This anime is so much more than a romance, filled to the brim with this mystery vibe that will keep your eyes glued to the screen. Our story follows Kujirai Reiko, a citizen of the Chinese block city of Kowloon. Real place, by the way. Learn something new every day. Kujirai wakes up every day, goes to her job as a realtor, and hangs out with her coworker / obvious crush, Kudo. They seem to have a routine. Work, lunch at the dumpling shop, catch up with some of the locals, and smoke on the roof, then more work until it's time to clock out. The city, although looking poor and desolate, is brimming with life, several vendors, and laughter everywhere. Everything seems pretty generic. You know I was gonna make that joke. But the camera keeps cutting to this weird-looking machine in the sky. The first thing Kujirai hears when she's on her way to work is a news report about this new controversial technology. Even her crush, Kudo, is sort of strange at times, being a mentor, and at other, slightly coming on to her. From the romance to the vibes of the setting, you can feel something is off. And so can Kujirai. That's when she finds it. An old picture of her and Kudo that she doesn't remember taking, and a local waiter tells her that her crush is already her fiancé. What is going on? That's just the first episode, and trust me, the twists and turns of this series are just getting started. Who is this other Kujirai? Has our main character lost her memory? Why hasn't Kudo said anything about their past? Why hasn't anyone around them realized that she's acting different? What you thought was a romance is filled to the brim with questions of identity, nostalgia, and supernatural disappearances. And Kowloon Generic Romance manages to pull all of this off because the first 2 points I listed at the beginning of the video are related to the two main characters, Kudo and Kujirai. Listen, I love high school romances and I'll probably continue to love them, but sometimes I need to switch it up. Sometimes I need something more mature. Sometimes hand-holding after 25 episodes just isn't doing it anymore. My bad. I'm a little bit traumatized. But the fact that our characters are adults, I think plays best into the themes of this show. One of the most prominent themes of this show seems to be, what is love? A loaded question, I know, but several different characters go on to answer it in several different ways. But the most prominent answer has to be Kudo's. Kudo says, love is nostalgia. By the end of the first episode, probably even before that, it's no secret that Kudo knows the Kujirai we're following isn't the same one in that photo. Whether she lost her memories or is a supernatural clone somehow. Again, just my theories, you gotta watch the show to find out the truth. He's going along with it anyway. Why? Because to him, love is nostalgia. The places you eat, the streets you walk down, the roof you hang out on.
Yeah, I'm not getting up there.
The people you know, the place you call home. If I had to guess, this is his way of holding on to the past and rejecting change. He's an adult. He doesn't want to grow up again. But it slips at times because the reality of the situation is that things change every day, making Kudo utter the line,
何が起きてる?
over and over again. And it is! More people begin to disappear and reappear. Items vanish as if they were never there. Memories of before Kowloon are hazy or just non-existent. Kudo's nostalgia is slowly fading. But was it even real in the first place? You can't have this theme with someone who isn't an adult because it revolves around being grown. And surprisingly, the show has a few shots of fan service. Let's be honest here, sex sells, and that's definitely one of the reasons why the animators made sure that Kujirai is one of the most beautiful things to grace our screens this season. I have never wanted to be paint so badly in my life. But also, going back to the theme of nostalgia, we're looking at her through Kudo's eyes. So of course, she would shine. And that takes me to my second point. Is Kudo even looking at the Kujirai we know or someone else? Because this show, adding other elements to a romance story like powers, trauma, psychology, or science fiction is a surefire way to get that RJ stamp of approval. This also works vice versa. And Kowloon Generic Romance took this and ran with it, centering almost every aspect of the story around who this other Kujirai is. And I gotta say, by the time me writing and recording this video, the show is doing a damn good job at making sure I don't know. At one point, you're just like, yeah, she's the same person, she just lost her memories. And at another point, you're just like, nah, she just might be a different person. This is because the show takes the time to focus on how Kujirai A and Kujirai B are different, and how they are the same. We see her say the same phrases, wear the same clothes, and smoke the same cigarettes, even picking out the same jewelry. It seems like her former self is still in there, somewhere. Yet, the show at the same time focuses on the differences. Kujirai A doesn't need to wear glasses. She doesn't like to eat at the same dumpling shop every day. Her apartment does have cute stuffed animals in it, and she's not that attached to Kowloon. But the biggest differences has to be their personalities. Kujirai B has this older boss lady vibe to her. She seems more confident in who she is and what she wants, while Kujirai A is more timid, less mature, and scrambling to find her footing in the city. I know I said no high school shit, but it's literally the difference between freshman and senior year. Cue that Squid Game meme. Yeah, see, this anime is one big game of spot the differences. But at the same time, their biggest similarities is their feelings for Kudo, because this show is still a romance. But even that is brought into question, and you would think the show would focus more on Kudo's perspective, loving someone who is, I guess, the same person, but not the same person at the same time. He struggles with accepting this change and basically choosing to fall in love again, or to move on from what was. And it does. But that's not the main focus. This show switches it up on you to Kujirai's perspective, and I love this, because it makes you question, is Kujirai A's feelings for Kudo even hers, or something left behind from Kujirai B? Bring it all back together to the what is love theme. Is it a collection of our memories, or something more inherent, natural to who we are? But at the same time, how can Kujirai A carve out her own identity if she's constantly living in the shadow of a life she never knew? What is hers versus what was hers? Feelings for Kudo included. It's such an interesting way to approach romance and the meaning of love, because at the end of the day, we're all going to have our different answers. And like I said earlier, even that is portrayed in the show through the many different characters. It's a damn good premise, and it's pretty well written. Well, I think so. Okay, let's do this. I'm a content creator who talks about anime online, so I can't help but hear the community's opinions on a lot of anime, and that includes your manga readers. I personally don't think you can tell, but apparently the manga tells the story at a much slower pace, and the anime has cut out a lot of slice scenes in order to get to the point faster. Again, unless you're already a manga reader, I don't think you can tell. Typically, when adapting a manga, 2 to 3 chapters make up the contents of an anime episode. However, in Kowloon Generic Romance's case, you find out about the other Kujirai in episode 1, but in the manga, that's not till chapter 8. I know this because I went and I read the cut content from the first episode just to see what the buzz is about, and I really think this is a preference thing. I'm not going to sit here and say that one version is better than the other, just that one version has more content than the other. Sort of like a silent voice in its manga. I think the staff at Arvo Animation, haven't seen them around much, are doing a great job downsizing this manga. Cut content doesn't necessarily mean a bad adaptation, and this anime is proof of that because everything I've talked about this far has been about the anime only. There are just 2 good versions, like Kujirai herself. Look at that. Came back full circle. But I will say, I do like Kujirai A, the one we start the story with, better. Just saying. But what side are you on? Comment below. Tying this all together, this is what I mean when I say romance stories that give you more than just a love story. At its core, yes, this story is a romance, but there is so much more to get out of it than person A loves person B for these reasons. And plus, we still get all the classic romance tropes that we watch regular romance for, so what's not to love? Pun intended. Kowloon Generic Romance is wholesome. It's mysterious. It's sexual. It's a wild ride with twists and turns. It's frightening, and it's goddamn beautiful. Kind of like how real love is. Huh. Would you look at that? I guess this show is way more generic than I thought it was. My fellow weebs, hope you liked that video. Comment your thoughts on Kowloon Generic Romance below. Have you seen it? Will you be watching it now? I want to know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much to our Patreons for support. And also go follow us on socials because we stream. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, my friends, I'm RJ Lane, and this has been On the Rise.